Welcome to Coffee Happening number 2. This is a two-part video. This is to relieve my stress. So I really wanted to make a video about doing this. This is not that video. Alright? That was completely an accident. Hey, amazing things happen when you're in front of the camera. Honestly, truly to God, they do. Amazing things happen when you're not in front of the camera. Honestly, truly to God, that happens a lot. Anyway, so this video is about the state of the world that we are in America right now. Alright, y'all. You know, it's, crap. Sorry, I'm getting my clothes for tomorrow morning set. OCD, y'all. It's a thing. It's a real thing. It really is. It's a real thing. So, you know, we go through life one person at a time, story after story, and everybody has a story. I'm no different from anybody else. My story is just a 20-year journey into making movies that hasn't really been working out in my favor. And I will tell you, there's not a day that goes by that I don't want to just hang it up and just reach the words, fuck it. But this isn't about me today. Alright, this is about everyone. This is about the world in which we live in. And this is about the things that I've seen on woke video. And the things that we all tend to turn a blind eye to. You know, I watched a black female cop today on one of these videos talk about how when people say all lives matter, that they were basically racist. I can't agree or disagree with her. However, I don't believe that everybody who believes that all lives matters are racist because I believe that all lives matter. I also, you know, I follow some people on other social medias like here on YouTube, and I don't not respect their opinion, but I do follow them, and I follow them because they're cool, not because our opinions vary and I like social discord. Alright? I don't like discord at all unless I can actually use my fist or my feet. That's my version of social discord. But I prefer to do that in a kung fu style movie rather than do it in real life. Because in real life, getting punched in the face hurts. Speaking from experience, of course. But the world itself. I bought this new comb because the other comb was taking out my hair. And guess what? This comb's taking out my hair too. So yeah. Kinda can't win for losing when it comes to combs. You know, that's why I always brush my hair into a ponytail and call it a day until the end of the night. You know. Because I can't really find a straight hairstyle that's like manly. I mean, I have to wash my hair at least 3 times a week. And I grease it because my hair is naturally curly. And I don't like curls. No. That's curls. C-U-R-E. Or U-R-L-E. I can't spell. Okay. Another reason why I'm infantry. Anyway. So, in all seriously now, I watched this young lady talk about being pulled over by cops, and she was a cop, getting tickets, and how she talked to her chief. The relevance of that has little to nothing to do with this video. But the facts that it happened has everything to do with this video. Alright. Not everybody has law enforcement in their family. Alright, so let's get to the guts now. Not everyone has law enforcement in their family. I was a security guard at least once. I got a few family members that were police officers. Some retired. Some were fired. But the bottom line is, the police are not all bad, but there are a bunch of bad SOBs in the police forces that need to be weeded out and locked up. I watched a lot of police handcuffing people today. I watched a lot of people, and I've been sent a lot of videos where people have died in police custody. We don't need to defund the police. We need to reform the police. I'm not going to go deep into that, but we do need to reform the police. We do need to improve their training. We do need to improve their rationale of how they talk to people. To be honest, how police talk to people is the first thing that we need to change. It's the first thing. Because, people are already pissed off that they got pulled over. I get it. I've been pulled over plenty of times. However, I've never been pissed off when I've been pulled over because 9 times out of 10, it's my goddamn fault. Alright? So let me explain that. When I've been pulled over, every time I've been pulled over, it was because I was speeding. Alright? I have to own that. Every speeding ticket I had before I was 30 years old, that shit was my fault. Because I have a Honda. I shift gears. When I didn't have a Honda, before, when I had an automatic, I still got at least 1 speeding ticket. But that was because I was driving my very second car, actually. I spun off the road and I crashed into a sign because my tires were bald. And I bounced off of a tree. Only did damage to the front fender. Nationwide, never found out about it. So that was that. And then the cop gave me a choice. He said, I can give you a speeding ticket or a destruction of property ticket. And he was real good about it. This happened in Keswick. And I said, well, which one's the cheaper ticket? He said, honestly, the speeding ticket is only going to be like $100. Well, the destruction of property tickets is probably going to be anywhere between $150 to $200. So I said, okay, well, since I wasn't speeding and I've weighed my options, I'll take the speeding ticket. Because, see, in the incident, I actually was not speeding. I was doing 45 miles an hour at that post office near Keswick, where there's the Keswick post office, and then there's a church. Well, there's a slippery when wet road sign that I took out because it was slippery when wet. But the problem was a car malfunction. My tires were bald. Now, me being 16, I have no idea what the fuck that meant. And when somebody tells you something is bald, I'm thinking, okay, well, I shaved my chest bald. I shaved my nether region bald. I know plenty of people who have bald heads. I didn't know what the hell having bald tires meant. I thought it was more like somebody was balding or something. So, 45 miles an hour was the speed limit there. And I did a complete loop and slid off the road and hit the sign. But I wasn't speeding. And he could tell by the way I was holding my brakes that there wasn't enough black marks there for me to be speeding. But he was nice enough to give me an option, and I took it. Right? So I had to pay the $100 ticket for speeding, even though I wasn't speeding. But that was okay because, it beat going to court and trying to explain to the judge that I have no idea what the hell bald tires mean. Now, I probably could have went to court and won that case, but I was dumb, scared, and black. So, and the officer was white, and I didn't want to be wrong. So I was just like, all right, if he's white, he's right. I'm gonna go ahead and pay this goddamn ticket, which is what I did. So, problem was solved. But I learned after that what bald tires meant because the officer would polite came with me to the parking in the fucking post office parking lot. It's not really a parking lot. It's just kind of like a off on the turn. I don't know what you would call it, but it's really not a parking lot. The post office is barely bigger than a convenience store. So anyway, he pulled over there and he showed me the tires were like shredded. This means you have bald tires. So I guess he really didn't know what to write me up either because no one was hurt. It was a 1-car accident. So, it wasn't a big deal, but someone had to pay something. So I paid the $100 speeding ticket and called it a day. Now, I know that was a little bit off topic. So let me explain. A lot of us don't seem to understand how damn difficult it is to be a police officer in the first place. No, I am not defending the bad police officers. I am only defending the good police officers, which I've had 3 police officers as my teacher at my college. Being that I am studying police science and criminal justice. Which, hooray, by the way, I should be getting my certificate in criminal justice. Okay, that being said, that out of the way. Don't ever do that, especially when you have a computer in the area. Even though I just did that. that being said, we have to understand a few things. Alright? This may be a 3-video saga. Alright, so first and foremost, let's talk about how we can reform the police. Again, the first thing we need to do is teach our police officers how to talk to someone and calm them down before you re-engage pissing them off by giving them the ticket. So the video I watched about a young lady who got pulled over who would later die in police custody. I do not remember her name, but she was 28 years old. That much I remember. And she had a female officer, and she had epilepsy and some other stuff in this video. And I'm really mad that the young lady died, and no one was charged in the incident. So she got pulled over by a cop for a traffic stop, and she said she was trying to get out of his way, but he decided to pull her ass over. I'm not gonna say that couldn't have happened, because I once had to drive all the way from Goochland at 55 miles an hour. And if I went over that 55 miles an hour to 56 miles an hour, even though the speed limit was 55 miles an hour and you're supposed to be allowed 5 miles over, I was going to Goochland jail. And that happened on a Christmas when I was 23. And that officer followed me. I've never been so scared in my life, and he was a black cop. He probably didn't think I was black. So I drove, and every time that needle hit the 5.5, I was like, needle, don't you move another micro inch. So don't even move a centimeter. In fact, don't even move a millimeter. I'm looking in my mirror, and I'm looking at the cop in the mirror, and I'm looking at the road, I'm looking in the mirror, I'm looking at the cop in the mirror, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm not trying to go to jail in Goochland because he's going to have my car impounded. I don't have any money to get the damn thing. All kinds of things were going through my head. And again, he was a black cop. He was very polite. When we got to 64, because he told me when we were given the proper instructions, when I get to 64, I'm going to cut my lights on. You're going to go down 64, and I don't give a flying hell if you do 100 miles an hour, because you'll be out of my jurisdiction and you'll be Albemarle County's problem. But I'm going back to Goochland. But before we go anywhere, if your needle goes over 55 miles an hour, your ass is going to jail. And this happened on a Christmas day. So way back when I was 23. So, okay. He did not speak to me in a harsh manner. He spoke to me as if I was a human being. He didn't speak to me as if I was a black person. He spoke to me as if I was a human being. That's proactive policing. And that's what we need to do with our police officers. We need to teach them how to speak to the person who they're giving a ticket to. Granted, the person who wants this ticket doesn't really want this ticket. However, the thing about driving, if you're going to drive, be aware. Be aware there are unmarked cars. Be aware that cars always sit in those little hooches when you're riding down the highway and the freeway and the interstate. That there's always a car there. It might not always have a cop in that son of a bitch, but you probably shouldn't take that chance. And I'll be the first one to admit, I will run damn near 80 miles an hour down 64 until I get to those spots where those cop cars are. Because I will follow the flow of traffic, or I will purposely get in front of a Mack truck. So I have no choice but to gun my ride. Understand? It's not recommended, especially by me. It's just something dumb that I personally do. Alright? That is an outward confession. It is not something that I am proud of. Kinda, sorta. Sorry, not sorry. But it is something that I've done. I have barreled up and down 64 since I learned how to drive 64. And every time I get to one of those spots that I know, like before I get to the spot, like I can see the sign where, it's going to say unauthorized personnel only or authorized personnel only to go through those little signs, which means only cops and interstate utility workers can go through there. No civilian can go. You have to go all the way to the next ramp, turn around, and come back, or your ass is going to get a ticket if you get caught. And with my luck, I know I would get caught, so I would never try to take that shortcut. Anyhow, moving on. When I come up on those spots, because I know where most of those spots are, I tend to not be speeding. Now, the only thing that will stop me from speeding, or besides that spot, or the only thing that will keep me speeding is if someone's on my ass and I can't get over, then I'll have to keep running. Now, I had that happen before too, where there was a cop in the thing, but somebody was on my ass. They were like right there. I could not move over to the right lane because there was another car that was driving fast as I was. I'm like, somebody's got to let me move over. And nobody would let me move over, so I kept going. And that day I got blessed. There was no cop in the car, so that was a good day. I've never done that shit again since then. But, it's just the principle of I used to burrow down 64, and it wouldn't surprise me if I have to go back down 64 again, that I won't do that. But every cop has given me a ticket except for one. That's approached me as if I was a human being. So now let's talk about the cop that didn't approach me as if I was a human being, so to speak. He didn't approach me in a super negative manner. And at this time, my hair was way longer. My hair was because this is not directly at my shoulders, but my hair was at my shoulders, literally at my shoulders. And I had it exactly like I have it right now. And so I'm driving home from wherever the hell I'm coming from, my little green Festiva, shifting gears, just driving, and the light was yellow. I went through the yellow light. His vantage point, there was no way in fucking hell he could see that light was not yellow. But he said that I went through a red light. He let me get 2 blocks and decided to pull me. Now here's where shit gets fun. So I never have facial hair. Never. Until I started growing my hair. So that people wouldn't think I was a girl. So I had the Roman Reigns do, because it's the only thing that actually can grow on my face. I can never grow a full beard or anything. It just grows in patches. Plus, it's fucking annoying and it starts itching within 3 or 4 days. So he pulls me over when I get to the entryway of the Trailway bus station, which is now Greyhound. So I go in there. I'm in there. And the first thing he does, he comes up to the door. And he's walking all macho. Hey, ma'am. You went through that red light? And I said, first off, I am a sir, and that light was yellow. Secondly, why did you let me go 2 blocks before you decided to pull me? I said, you can't do that. You need to pull me immediately if I'm in a dangerous position of driving through a red light on a main city street. I said, oh, so you think you got to wrap around the law, huh? I was like, look, dude, I know how the law works. You can't pull me if 2 blocks that went by. You're not supposed to let me get that far. No. He's like, well, I had the radio in. I said, you already radioed in as soon as you saw me. I said, I don't even want to hear that crap. Which he did. Which is one of the things that kind of saved my life. I told you guys this story before, but I'll give you the long and short. The long and short is this guy had an issue with people of color. Alright? Not just black people, but people of color in general. And so he, first he thought I was a girl. So that didn't help him at all, because he had done this to young ladies before. No. Sorry. There's something on my screen and I want it off right now. So, and hopefully these things won't totally demolish my my screen. Anyway, so he had done this before and he thought that I was a girl. That's where we were. Alright? So that was the first mistake, is that he had done this before to other people of color. But he had been doing this for a while. And it's like he was never missing his quota. In fact, he was over his quota for the year when he got me. So when he gave me the ticket, he told me I'll see him in court. I was like, yes, sir, you will. He's like, well, you can pay for it or you can come to court and fight it. I said, oh, I'm going to come to court and pay for it. I ain't going to fight the damn thing. He's like, how you figure that? I said, because you're white, you're right, I'm black, I'm wrong. I don't have time to not be strong. Anyway, so I get to court. And I come to the judge because I missed the day to actually go and pay the ticket, because I didn't have money for the ticket, which my older sister gave me the money for the ticket. So when I went to court and the judge said, yo, Mr. Williams, I said, yes, sir, I'm here to pay the ticket. He said, no. Do you want to fight this ticket? And I said, no. I want to pay this ticket and I want to go home because I need to go and earn money to pay my sister back for paying for me to get this damn ticket paid for. He's like, well, Mr. Williams, we got a problem. I said, no, I have all the money, plus the court fee. I have everything I need right here. He goes, no. This guy has been chalking up a lot of stuff. And most of the people that he has had issues with have been people of color, which you happen to be a person of color. So, you're not going to pay this ticket. You're going to fight this ticket. And I said, no, I'm not going to fight this ticket, Your Honor. I'm going to pay this ticket, and I'm going to go home. He's like, and why do you feel that way? So I looked at everybody in the crowd, and I said, well, I'm black, I'm wrong. He's white, he's right. Let me pay the ticket and go home tonight. Damn near everybody bust out laughing. I didn't think the shit was funny. I was deadly serious when I said that shit, because Charlottesville has been one of those towns, if you're not white, you're not right. And it was during that time where the judge looked at me and said, son, this is my courtroom. I don't play that shit. He was a white guy. He's like, no, this guy has had maybe 40 black people complaining about him. I was like, well, I'm not here to complain about him. I'm here to pay the ticket. He's like, okay, so tell me what happened. I was like, can't I just pay the ticket? He's like, no, tell me what happened. I said, okay, I went through a yellow light. He was at the Bluebird Cafe. From where I drove back the next day and sat where he was sitting, there was no way he could see that light was fucking yellow. There was no way he can even see the damn light, because he was back far enough behind the bushes that he could not see that light unless he had Mr. Fantastic neck. If y'all don't know who Mr. Fantastic is, Google him. Reed Richards. Anyway, he's like, okay, so then what happened? I said, well, he let me get 2 blocks. I went through one set of lights, not counting the red light that he claims I ran. But the very next thing was a light. You know, it was where All for Authors used to be. And then I got to the yield sign that is now a traffic light. And I went through that. That's 2 blocks. And then he pulled me at the Trailway, which was Greyhound at the time. Excuse me. It was Trailway at the time. It's a Greyhound now. So he pulled me over there, and the first thing he said was, hey, ma'am. He said, and this is why we have to have you fight the ticket. So, because 1, you went 2 blocks. 2, you are of color. And 3, the people that have been complaining have been females of color. I say, but I'm not a female. It's like, no, we knows that. But still, you just said that he said, hey, ma'am. So that's kind of what it boiled down to with this guy not liking people of color and harassing black chicks or any chick of color and shit like that. So again, his approach was a little okay, but his whole problem was just he had a problem with people of color. The judge had a problem with him, and that's how I didn't have to pay that 1 ticket. Every other ticket I ever had, I've had to pay. But every officer that's ever given me a ticket has come at me very, very politely. Alright? So, we seem to not understand how stressful it is to be a cop. Being a cop, being a firefighter, being a soldier. They are some of the most dangerous and high stressful fucking jobs you will ever have in your life. Especially being a soldier when you're getting deployed. When you're not getting deployed, it's not that bad. When you are getting deployed, that's how PTSD happens and shit like that. I never got deployed, just so you guys know. I got fracked up right out of the gate. Anyway, so when you are a police officer, first, you know, if you can see that you pull someone over and they're punching the steering wheel, maybe, because you have discretion, it's the most powerful arsenal in a police officer's conduct. Maybe you can give this person a warning. Maybe if you can calm them down and talk to them politely, maybe you can give them a warning. Hey, look, I'm not trying to add to your bad day. This is why I stopped you. But first, I need you to calm down. I said, if you calm down, you might be able to get out of here without a ticket. No, because I don't have to write you a ticket, but I did have to stop you for doing such and such and such and such. Now, see, a very good incident of that was the last ticket I got. Alright, the very last ticket I got, I had my yellow car, and I was jamming to Puffy Amiyumi. I just don't remember the song. It might have been Teen Titans, but I know I was jamming to them, and I was coming up Derry Road, and I was doing every bit of over the speed limit. Every bit of it. Speed limit is 25, and I'm probably doing every bit of fucking 40. Jamming. Hi, hi, Puffy Amiyumi show. I was just gone. Driving. Coming up University, down Derry Road, won't even thinking about the speed limit. I really wasn't. I mean, I just made that right turn to come up the road, and the cop was on the bike, and must have already clocked me when I came around the corner. So as I'm jamming, he walks out in the street, and I'm like, what the fuck? Because if he hadn't came out in the street, I would have just kept going. Because I never even saw him until he came in the street. So he flagged me over, asked me if I knew how fast I was going, and before I could answer, he says, don't even answer that. I know you don't know how fast you were going. You never looked at your speedometer, did you? No, sir. He said, what were you doing? I was jamming to these two hot Japanese chicks. It's like, yeah, well, these two hot Japanese chicks just got you a ticket, son. I was like, yeah, totally worth it, though. He's like, yeah, I guess it is, because, you know, you were having a blast. I'm sorry. I don't want to give you this ticket, kid, but you can't be driving 45 and a 25. You know, you just can't. You can't do that. I don't want to give you this ticket, but I have to give you this ticket. And that was probably the nicest cop I ever had here in Charlottesville. Now, before that, I had almost got a ticket by a cop because I had one of those pine tree things hanging in my window, and my step cousin was with me, and we were just riding. I think we were going to Henrico or coming from Henrico. We were in Richmond, and the cop pulled me over because she was white, I was black, and I had a pine tree air freshener thing hanging in my car, which is why I don't have any of those things in my car where they can be hanging anywhere. All right. Now I have those fan ones. Yeah, I don't ever get the pine trees or anything. And if I do get them, they hang on the seat. They don't hang where they can be an obstruction of my view. So he didn't give me a ticket, but he gave me the 9th degree about riding in Richmond with those things. And my step cousin, she says, this motherfucker only did that shit because you're black. And had you been white, he probably wouldn't even have pulled you because it would have been 2 white people in the car instead of a white dude and a black dude and a white chick. Long story. Anyway, she was white, I'm black, he pulled us over. So that was pretty much it, and that was in my yellow car also. So they started having some things in Virginia where you can't pull someone over without a legal excuse. Because a lot of people were getting pulled, and people were complaining, and this was like not too long after they had that bill passed where anybody from Virginia driving way over the speed limit has to pay extra, where people who come from other states can just fly through Virginia, and we had to pay for it until it started getting those guys who wrote the bills kids. So then the petition went through and they canned that shit. Anyway, that being said, he was a dick. He did not approach me properly. He came up there. Do you know why I pulled you over? No, sir, because I was not speeding. I do not know why you pulled me over. Well, you definitely wasn't speeding, but I pulled you over because you have a pine tree air freshener hanging from your rear view mirror. Now, my dumb ass, I ain't thinking about the rear view in the car. I'm thinking about the rear view on the outside of the car. I was like, there's no pine tree on the outside of my car. He's like, no, man, the one inside. I was like, oh. Well, I'm from Charlottesville, because he got my license and everything. I was like, look, no cop in Charlottesville has ever pulled me over for this shit. No state trooper has ever pulled me over for that when I've been going to Richmond for years. I've always had those things in my car. I've always had them in the same spot. And not one state trooper, not one time since I had a car driving, has ever pulled me over for that shit. So somewhere in Henrico, I guess this guy just wanted to pull me over to see if I was a drug dealer or something. And in a Honda, of all things. I don't think drug dealers drive CRXs, but you never know. Everybody has their own taste. So he pulled me over, and he didn't go through the car or anything, because my step cousin, she kind of went off on him like, if he wasn't black, you wouldn't have done this shit. And he's like, ma'am, yeah. And at the time, well, his dumb ass didn't know it was the she was riding dirty because she was illegal. So that killed that. But after the incident was over, I went back, talked to my dad, went on home the next day, and I didn't put any more of those damn things in my window since. So again, your approach as a police officer to a patriot or a pedestrian riding, driving, walking, whatever, how you approach them affects the outcome of any situation. So if you're going up to somebody of color, hey boy, what's up boy? Or if you say it to someone who is not of color, hey boy. That hey boy shit is the first thing that you should not probably do. Especially when you're not talking to an actual boy. Because those are things that those are like fighting words. No grown ass man ever wants to be called hey boy. Hey sir, can I talk to you? Excuse me, mister. Something in the word of manners would probably help. So I'm going to end this video here. We're going to get off police reform, and we're going to go into the second video. So after that, we're going to go from there, because this is 30 minutes of your life you can't get back.